You know that feeling when someone gives you a compliment that just completely catches you off guard? Or they describe you in a way you've never ever thought of yourself? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into. This fascinating idea that the people around us are like mirrors, reflecting a version of ourselves we just don't see on our own. And this brings us to a cool word, doppelganger. Now, hold on, we're not talking about some ghostly twin or long lost lookalike. For what we're talking about, let's think about it a little differently. A doppelganger is like a second self, but it's a version of you that only exists in someone else's mind, in their perception of you. So I want you to actually take a second and think about this. Who is it in your life? Who sees a side of you that you just don't recognize? Maybe it's your mom, or a brand new friend, maybe even a coworker. Who sees a skill in you that, when they point it out, you're just like, really? Me? Go ahead, picture that person. Keep them in mind as we go. All right, first up, let's talk about the unexpected glimpse. This is all about how a simple, everyday thing you do, something you don't even think twice about, can look absolutely dazzling to someone else.
Let's paint a picture. Imagine a little kid just staring with these wide eyes as their older brother just flicks his thumb across a phone and boom, he's found the perfect song in like 2 seconds. Now, to that little kid, this is pure magic. Seriously. But for the older sibling, he's not doing anything. He's just scrolling.
And right there, you have two totally different realities happening at the exact same time. For the person watching, they're seeing this impressive moment of genius, this dazzling, unexpected skill. But for the person actually doing it, it's nothing. It's just a simple move, a muscle memory they've built up without even noticing. That gap, that's where things get really interesting. And this, right here, really gets to the heart of it. Whether something is great or not isn't really about the action itself. It's about the audience's experience. If you're seeing something for the very first time, even the simplest skill can feel totally awe-inspiring. The magic, it turns out, is completely in the eye of the beholder. So, okay, other people can see this amazing version of us that we miss. But what if it goes deeper than that? What if their presence could do more than just change how we're seen? What if it could actually change us? This leads us to something a bit more profound. The unseen nudge. Now, here's where it gets a little wild. What if I told you we can actually become better people just by having someone new enter our orbit? It almost sounds like make-believe, right? That just by being around them, something inside us starts to shift. And the most unbelievable part of this whole thing is that these people, they don't have to do anything special. They don't need to be your mentor. They don't have to give you amazing advice. Nope. Their power is just in their presence. They just have to exist in our world, and that's enough to spark a change. So, how does this actually happen? Well, it usually follows a pretty clear path. First, a new person shows up in your life. Then you start to observe them. You just watch how they operate, what they care about, and watching them makes you start to reflect on yourself. And that reflection, that's what sparks a real desire to change your own ways. And that's what we're calling the subtle nudge. See, it's not some huge, dramatic life makeover. It's this quiet, internal push. That tiny, almost invisible feeling you get that makes you want to be a little kinder or a bit more focused, all because of who you're now spending your time with. And the effects are very, very real. You might actually start to change little things about yourself for the better. You might start looking at life in a totally new way, with a fresh perspective. And you find yourself thinking about your own life, not because of anything they said to you, but simply because they exist. Okay, so let's zoom all the way out. Let's take this whole idea of reflection and look at it from a much bigger, almost philosophical point of view. This brings us to a huge, mind-bending what if. What if the concept of a higher being isn't about some supernatural force? What if their power is simply the ability to see a complete and total reflection of every single person all at the same time? So here's the difference, right? A higher being, from this perspective, sees every single angle of every person. They get the full, complete reflection. But us, as mortals, we only ever get glimpses. We see fragments.
which means our understanding of people and even of ourselves is always going to be incomplete. And, that's just a basic limitation of being human. Our brains literally cannot process the infinite number of reflections coming from everyone all around us. It's like we're trying to put together a massive world-sized puzzle, but we've only been given a handful of the pieces. But here's the beautiful, hopeful part. Even though our view is limited, even though we only get those little pieces, they are powerful. Those small glimpses are more than enough. They're all we need to get a new outlook, to question how we see things, and to inspire us to actually change for the better.
Which really leaves us with this one last thought. The mirror that other people hold up to us, it isn't lying. It's just showing you a version of the truth you weren't expecting, or maybe one you just couldn't see by yourself. So the next time someone new walks into your life, pay attention. You might just be about to meet a whole new you.